You've got noisy neighbors. They're driving you crazy. You've tried everything. You tried being nice. You tried being civilized. You tried talking to them about it. And what'd they do? They just became even louder and more passive aggressive because you said something to them. You've tried talking to your landlord, your manager of the apartment complex or wherever you live. And what'd they do? Nothing. Nothing. They said, yeah, we'll talk to them. We'll get them to quiet down. No, nothing happened. You tried calling the cops. You're like, I'm gonna call the cops. You know, we have cops. That's what they're for, right? Nah, the cops show up like an hour or two later, if they show up at all. I mean, you know, you're not a priority. Noise complaint. Who cares about that? If they show up, you know, they'll you know, write in their notebook, act like they're, you know, doing something. They don't do anything. They got bigger things to worry about than your noise complaint. So now you're here, your last resort. Alright, so now I'm going to explain the steps you need to take to make your neighbors think you're actually possessed by a demon, and hopefully have them move out or be quiet forever because they're so scared of you because you're possessed by a demon. But before I get into this, I want to forewarn you, this should be a last resort. This should be like, you've tried everything else, like I said earlier in the video. This should be the nuclear bomb that you drop off when nothing else has worked, because we literally are going to make them think you're possessed by a demon. You think, oh, that can't happen, you know? How are they going to think that? Like, for example, if your neighbors are like devout atheists and like, no, God, I don't believe in God, science, nothing happens after we die. You know, if that's, you know, say that's your neighbor, you know you've done your job when they are basically on their knees sucking Jesus' dick. Like these people are going to church now, they have faith in Jesus and, you know, and or whatever. It doesn't have to be Christianity or Jesus, it could be any religion. You basically converted them to whatever, Islam, Judaism, doesn't matter. You've given them faith. Or vice versa, if you have Christian neighbors or Islam or whatever, Muslim, and they just have, their faith is now stronger because of you, because they think you're a demon. That's basically that's how you know you've done your job. Like that's how you know, and you've won. But yeah, so I said this should be a last resort because it's pretty far out there. All right, so in this video I'll go through all the steps on what you need to do to make them think you're possessed by a demon, and at the end I'll put it all together and I'll give you like a first-person view on what they'll hear and see. Well, I'm not gonna see much because it'll be dark, but I'll do all the steps that I show you on the other side of my bedroom wall, and then you can hear it and get some more ideas and just see what it'll kind of sound like when it's all said and done. All right, so the first thing you want to do is, well, grab a hammer. But first thing you really want to do is figure out what time they go to bed, like their sleep schedule. You want, like, so if they're like a 9 to 5er, probably not. They're probably on welfare and probably stay up all night. But yeah, so if they go, you know, if they figure out their sleep schedule, because that's the first step is figure out their sleep schedule. Look, what time they go to bed. Well, like, so you want to figure out what time they are in like their deep sleep, like in that REM cycle or whatever, like, or whatever. They're in deep sleep, and because you want to wake them up. You're not gonna wake them up like nice and pleasant. No. You're gonna wake them up from their deep sleep. So figure out what time. So figure out what time it is. Could be 3 in the morning. Could be there could be their deep sleep at like 7 p.m. Like I said, they could be staying up all night, annoying you, and they go to bed at like 12 p.m. So it might be 6, 7 p.m. You're gonna be doing these things, these steps I'm gonna show you. All right, so you figured out their sleep schedule, and okay, you know what time you're gonna have to wake them up, because you want to wake them up from that deep sleep. It's very important you're waking up for this process to work, that you're waking them up from a deep sleep, like they don't even know they still think they may be dreaming and whatnot. Like, you really want them to think like, is this a nightmare? Is this reality? Because they're still like, oh, you know, they just woke up from a deep sleep, so they don't know what's going on. And so you're gonna want to grab a hammer or a sledgehammer. Sledgehammer would actually work better. Something that, you know, and if you have an old piece of metal, like thick metal, like from an old fridge, or like I found this old piece of metal lying around, so I'm going to use this. I would really like to use this, and I'll show you that in a second. But yeah, something, if you have to, like I said, you know, you can use wood, but metal works better. It's going to be like a louder, you want the loudest bang, you know, possible. Alright, so here's like an example of like using an old fridge. You could hit this if you want. It'll work. This would work. You know, this would work pretty well. Or, like I said, this is if you have an old table. The best bet is if you do have like an old table, like nice thick wood. That would work all right. But you're better off actually just using metal, because everyone's kind of used to hearing wood and whatnot. But I mean, if you have nothing else to use, then yeah, just use like really. Make sure it's nice and thick. You want to get a nice loud explosive sound. Even like a toolbox, you know, like an old toolbox. You know, just experiment around. Find something that's as loud as possible, and use that hammer or that sledgehammer, and it'll work fine. All right. So for anyone that has upstairs neighbors, this is gonna be a little bit hard to, you know. I mean, if you really want to get on a ladder, and you could get on a ladder and just whack it. That might work. But also, if you want, you could take a speaker. And I'll have the link for it below. But you can play this loud door. It's like a door closing. It's really loud. It's got a nice loud thump, and you can press it up against the ceiling, or you can press it up against the wall if you want to use it as an alternative. I suggest that you whack it yourself, because you want to get the demon possessing you. You want to embody this thing. You want to let it all out. This is gonna be like therapy for you as well, because you can feel all that anger and rage. You're just gonna, bam, you know, just let it out. But if you have to, use this link, or if you have any other, if anyone wants to share any other links, feel free to, of any other really loud bang noises. You just feel free to comment and send the link as well. But I found one, but it's probably not the best. It's decent. The best bet is to actually hit something, and you doing it personally. So, all right, it's time to wake them up now. It's whatever, 3 a.m., whatever time they're going to be in their deep sleep, and you're going to wake them up. And you've got your piece of metal, your whatever you're using the bang on. It's really loud and really bassy. Just, you know, you just bang. So like, give you an example of what I'm talking about. So you're gonna want to do one loud bang, just one loud, or maybe a couple if it's not loud enough. If you have a piece of metal or thick wood that's just, you know, you can't get loud enough, you hit it a couple times. But it's important that you hit it a couple times, hit it once, just to initially shock them, because you want to shock their system and wake them up from this deep sleep, from a loud bang, like, oh, wake them up, oh, you know, they're kind of still, what's going on, you know, the heart's pumping, adrenaline's going a little bit, and then I'll show you in a second after we get done this, I'll show you what to do next, but this is the first step. So we can just give a small example what the best case scenario will sound like. So, you know, just and again, let that rage inside of you take over. It's really important that you let all that, everything that all the noise and all the anger and pain and hatred you feel inside, let that demon just get inside of you when you go to hit it. You know, just when you go to, you know. So let me show you an example. Don't say anything when you do it, but for this part. But I had to let it out. I'm sorry. But yeah, just one loud bang or a couple, and then bam. All right, I just want to forewarn you again. I would look into your local laws about what could get you involuntarily committed to a mental hospital. And most places, it's pretty hard to get involuntarily committed. Like, you have to do a lot. You really have to, like, do a lot. You usually have to be, like, pretty violent. Usually, like, a noise complaint or someone thinking you're possessed. You'd probably be okay. But I just want to mention it so, in case there's a problem. I don't want you to end up in a mental hospital. So just look at the laws so you know what they are and what to avoid and what to work around and whatnot. Because like I said, I know what the laws are where I live, but you might live in a more strict place or a more lenient place with like mental health and whatnot. So the idea is to get them to move out or be quiet and not have you end up in a mental hospital. So just looking at that, you should be okay, but I just wanted to warn you about it. All right, so next step is you already did the hammering. You figured out what time you gotta hammer and wake them up. So it's like whatever, 3 in the morning. You do your hammer, and then instantly after you hammer, now you gotta start making your demon noises, and you gotta sound like you're possessed. And the key is you only want to do this for like 10 to 15 seconds at most. Like make your demon noises after you hammer, because the idea is you want to wake them up from like a dream state, like a real deep sleep, and you don't want them to catch on to what you're doing. You still want them, you want them to almost think like am I in a nightmare? Like what's going on? Like you want them to think like they're still even sleeping, and if you go on for too long, they'll start to catch on to what they're doing, or they might end up calling the cops or something. So the idea is bang, and I'll show you an example of some demon noises and whatnot, and what you could do, but yeah, so it's like bang for like 10-15 seconds, and they're like, and the next day they wake up like, was that a nightmare? Was that even, what was that? And then also the key part is after you do this, you still have to play the part. Like you still have to, like when they see you out and about, like you gotta, like not say anything and just act, hey, act like real, just out of your fucking mind. You gotta play the part. It's easy to like rage out and whatnot and act like a demon when they're pissing you off, but it's like, you're not gonna be like that every day. But when they see you out and about, like you've gotta, my best advice is like, watch horror movies, watch interviews of like just psychos, and just like try to, like, you gotta act it, you gotta play the role, you gotta let that, you know what I mean? Like you gotta become a demon, and like you gotta act the role, you gotta really let it take over. So what you could do is you could do this live, like you could do the bang, and then you could, depending on your walls and how thick they are and how much they can hear, you might be able to just do it like with your own voice and they can hear you. But if you want to, another good thing to do is like, say when you hear them making all that noise and you're really pissed off, you're really in that like violent mode, might be a better alternative is to record it with your phone, like you making the demon noises, because it'll be easier to just act it out. Record it with your phone and then play it back on like a speaker that you have, like so do the bang and then hit the play button of what you recorded, put it on a loud speaker, and then just but if you can manage to just act out and let the demon come out like in the moment, it's up to you, it depends on you, but it really wouldn't be a bad idea to record it as as they're pissing you off and they're making noise, because it'll be more authentic and just sound more realistic. And so like my best advice would be to try to like have it come from within. Like you can record it and then like go like, because there's plenty, I won't get into this, there's plenty of videos on like how to make a more demonic sounding voice on the internet, like how to like edit it with Audacity and other programs. I won't get into that here because the video will be like an hour long, but you're better off just trying to like do the minimum amount of effects as possible, make it as authentic sounding as possible, because you want them to really think you're possessed by a demon. You don't want to give it away and think this is some joke. So it's best to like practice with your own voice and whatnot, and just add a little bit of effect. I have a guitar amp here with a microphone, so I'm gonna just add a little bit of effects. And if you have a guitar amp or you have a karaoke machine, then instead of recording it, like say if you're gonna do it live, plug that karaoke machine and plug that guitar amp in, do it with the mic and add a little bit of effects. Like that's what I'm gonna do. But if you have to record it when they're really pissing you off, you want to record your voice doing the whatever you're gonna do for your demonic possession, because not every demon's the same, right? And this has got to be catered to you. I'm just giving you like a guideline to like what to follow and some examples. So to wrap it up, you banged. 10, 15 seconds are just out of your mind. Whether it's you just doing it without a microphone and amp, and you're just doing it live, or you have to play a recording that you did back and you messed with the effects, you add a little bit of effects, but not too much. Don't add too many effects. You don't want the sound artificial. You want them to wake up and think, oh my God, and like I said, you gotta play, again, you gotta play the role when you see them. You gotta, it doesn't end in the bedroom, as they say. It doesn't end in the bedroom. So when you see them out and about, it's just as important that you act crazy. You either, you give them that crazy eye look, and you just stare at them and don't say anything when they say hi, or you act overly nice. Just get some ideas, and like I said, watch some horror movies, watch a lot of interviews, just look at a lot of pictures of crazy people, and just get into that headspace. It won't be too hard if you're watching my video and you're this desperate. You're probably already far gone and feeling insane and demonic anyway. So because the sound drives you crazy. Like they use sound is some of the best ways to torture a human being. So you're already. It won't be too hard. I don't think it'll be too hard if you've come this far and watched this video. So let me give you an example now, a small example of what it'll sound like with my guitar amp, and then I'll wrap it up and I'll give you a first-person view of what your neighbors might hear. So, also, it's important when you're making your noises to not make any direct threats and whatnot. Like, don't directly threaten them. Just make it sound like a bunch of crazy demonic talk and whatnot. Don't make any direct threats. Nothing that would be illegal and whatnot. So just keep that in mind as well. All right, so here's a few examples. Just using my guitar amp with some small effects put on. And he said you can look on YouTube and for like tutorials on like how to get a demon sound in voice, but don't do it over the top. Try to make it as more organic sounding with your own voice if you can. If not, you need help with the computer and the effects and whatnot. Yeah, use them. They're there. So you just want to make it sound as real as possible. So a little small example. So here's something with like more effects. It doesn't sound as real though. Hold on, we'll see. See what you think. All right. I feel like it in my body. My mind is going to let it possess you. Let it possess you. You're sick of all fun. You're sick of all fun. Oh shit, I'm swollen. And again, 10 to 15 seconds, and I'll now jump into an example. What I'm talking about, what they'll actually hear. Alright, so now for the grand finale. This will be the room that I'll have the camera in. So don't mind my poverty green screen, but yeah, the camera will be set up right there. Give you a first-person perspective on what they'll kind of experience. And right outside, there's the wall. Here's the piece of metal that'll be banging on. Alright, so yeah, when you are banging, try not to, put it up against your wall. You don't want to damage your walls, so just like hold it up in any way you can, and then just whack it. Try not to damage anything. Hammer right there, and I'll have my guitar amp set up somewhere around here, and I'll give it a try. We'll see how this goes. See how it sounds.